IShowSpeed and KaiSenat are the biggest streamers on the planet, and Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time. And as every streamer eventually realizes, big streamer plus big game equals content. So they decided to attempt a challenge where they try to beat all 4 Minecraft bosses in hardcore mode, meaning that if they die, they have to restart. And after seeing them fail multiple times, I decided that I would try it. But there was a big difference between me and them. I actually know how to play this game. So I wanted to think of a way to make it harder. The biggest problem Kai and Speed have had haven't been the bosses themselves, but rather just dying early on because they were under-geared. So what if I don't wear any gear at all? Can I beat all 4 Minecraft bosses without ever wearing armor? Well, obviously yes, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. So the better question is, how long will it take? The first seed was surprisingly fast. I started by looting a shipwreck with a map that led me to a buried treasure back on my spawn island. The map also showed a lava pool which I used to enter the nether. I quickly found a bastion and carefully killed piglins with lava since it's very dangerous to do proper bastion routes with piglin brutes, and even more dangerous without armor. I collected all the gold and then found some piglins to trade with for the ender pearls and obsidian. I didn't get enough, but we'll just have to deal with it because piglin trades suck in this version. I tried to find a fortress, but instead ended up finding a treasure bastion. I decided to loot it for more gold to get more pearls, but... Why'd you jump in? What? Someone shot me from behind, bro. That's so dumb. Attempt 2. I spawn next to a village and quickly destroy a forest so I can craft sticks to trade with villagers for food. Specifically apples, so I can craft them into golden apples later. I head over to the ocean where I find a shipwreck and then I follow the buried treasure map, but as I'm trying to get it, I get comboed by a trident drowned and die. Attempt 3. I run for about 20 minutes, finding multiple structures on the way, until I eventually find a ruined portal that I used to enter the nether. I find a bastion, but I immediately get hit by a piglin brute that does 9.5 hearts, and then I get shot by another piglin as I'm running away. Attempt 4. I find a village, and just like attempt 2, I trade with villagers for apples. Find a lava pool to enter the nether, and quickly find a bastion. But as I'm trading with the piglins, I get hit through a block and die because this game is just so well made. Right. No, that's on me. Yeah. Attempt 5 starts the same way as the last one, except this time it takes me 20 minutes to find a bastion. Once I'm done trading with the piglins, I only have 7 pearls, but I have to worry about that later. So I continue on and find a fortress where I proceed to go 7 for 7 on blade spots because luck is a skill. I leave the nether and find a stronghold, hoping to find endermen on the way. But since I don't, I use the lava in the portal room to go back to the nether, where I find a second bastion and get the rest of the pearls I need. I get back to the stronghold and enter the end, but right as I'm about to kill the dragon, oh, what? How did that? What? That's not how this game works. How did it hit me? Attempt 6, I get all the pearls I need, but when I enter the fortress, a wither skeleton drops on my head. In attempt 7, I just end up dying to a stray piglin in the bastion. Attempt 8, I find a useless ruined portal with a lava pool right next to it before running over to a village with the worst blacksmith chest I've ever seen. Worst blacksmith chest the world has ever seen. 2 apples, diamond horse armor, and 2 copper spears. I run over to a second village with a very good blacksmith chest this time. Okay, 4 diamonds in this blacksmith chest. This one's a bit better than the last. Before returning to the lava pool to enter the nether. I find a bastion and almost die to a piglin. But I get away safely. I trade with piglins and actually get a good amount of pearls this time. Side note, if you don't know, there's 4 types of bastions, and in like half of these seeds I've gotten a bridge bastion, which is like the best one in this version because there's a lot of gold in one spot where it's easy to get. Makes it very safe for a challenge like this. I'm never this lucky, it's actually insane. And speaking of luck, I find a fortress and get a wither skull from the first wither skeleton I kill. And then I get my blaze rod to return to the overworld. After the stronghold calculator decides to lie to me, definitely wasn't because I just mismeasured the eyes, I eventually find the stronghold. I collect some books from the library for enchanting later and find the portal room and enter the end. I destroy all the crystals and after a few perches and crossbow shots, I finally managed to kill the dragon. First boss down. Hey, dragon's dead. I go through the end gateway to find an end city. Once I find one, I tower up to the airship and grab the elytra, which does not count as armor, and I kill shulkers for a shulker box. And then I head back to the overworld. I make bookshelves and an enchanting table to get a smite and looting 3 sword. I also have a fire aspect book that I got from the stronghold, so I put that on the sword too and use it to get food for the rest of the run. Then I trade with villagers for an Unbreaking 3 book to put on my elytra. I head back to the nether to get my last 2 wither skulls. I leave for a bit to find a new bastion to trade for more fire resistance and make more golden apples. And then go back and get the next 2 skulls immediately. I got my second wither skull. Oh, and I got my third. Okay. Genuinely, I don't know how I got so lucky this run. I killed 22 wither skeletons and got 3 skulls, and one of those wasn't even with looting 3. What are the odds of this? I go back to the overworld and I dig down under a mountain since there's a high chance of a deep dark biome spawning there. I don't find one, but while I'm down here, I decide to spawn the wither.
3, 2, 1, go!
Wow, that was way too easy. 2 bosses down. Find another mountain to dig under, but once again, no deep dark. I decide to fly over to an ocean and immediately find an ocean monument, so I go in to kill the Elder Guardian. My plan was to brute force it with golden apples, but I didn't realize just how strong the Elder Guardian is when you have no armor. Who would have guessed? It was way more than I thought it was. So instead I place it on to breathe and use my pro battling skills to jiggle peek the Elder Guardian with a bow. 3 bosses down. I find 2 more mountains that I dig under, but neither have a deep dark biome. As my elytra is gonna break soon, I decide to nether travel to get a completely new area, since traveling in the nether is faster than the overworld. Once I'm back in the overworld, I find 2 more mountains that also don't have a deep dark, but the next one I find finally does. I summon the warden, box it in as it's spawning, and bow it to death. Let's go! Time! Completing the challenge in 3 hours and 15 minutes. And surely that's the hardest this challenge is going to get. Wait, what do you mean Feinberg did it with half a heart?